Morning, everyone. It's 8:36 on Wednesday morning, and this is your pre-opening comment video number 1692. Okay, whole lot of nothing going on in the futures. We're basically unchanged. The Dow has been, I've seen it from down 24 to up 30. Last is up 23. The S&P is barely changed at up about $2, and the Nasdaq is up about 18. So after yesterday's point and a half, 1.5% and 2% moves in the indexes from high to low, today were particularly calm. News today: mortgage apps up 7.4%. That compares with down 7.2% last month. And so, maybe there's a little something going on there. It's really not meaningful until we start to see home sales that go along with those mortgages. ADP payroll number up 242,000. That was versus a 205,000 number as an estimate, and last month's number of up 119. That was revised from up 106. So, the jobs market just keeps on marching on. Trade in January, negative 68.3 billion. Expectation was 68.7. Last month's was 67.4. So 68.3 versus 67.4, bigger deficit. As far as a comparison, the high water mark was a year ago, March of 22, at minus 106 billion. Asia and Europe both lower. Berkshire added, now owns 22% of Oxy. I still don't understand why they don't call this a creeping tender. I mean, every time you turn around, he's bought a little more. On the earnings side, CrowdStrike was a beat. Stock is trading 132.5, up 757. Adidas came out with horrendous numbers relative to cutting off Kanye West and the liquidation of their inventory there, which they say will not produce a profit. Stitch Fix, I said it right that time, with a miss. $4.50, down 47 cents. This is another one of those. It seemed like a great idea when there was free money. And to remind you, the high on Stitch Fix is right around 114. So $4.50 looks pretty cheap. I don't mean cheap to buy it. I mean, you're hurt. FRTX, that's Fresh Track. They had positive results on an immunoinflammatory trial. What you have to remember is that really, when you come down to it, absolutely everything that goes wrong with you involves inflammation, whether it's around your heart or in your ankle after you twist it. That's really a catch-all. This stock was reversed about a year ago, 1 for 45, which is only to say there's less stock to move. And this morning on that news, it's $3.40, and that's up $1.57 or 86%. Universal Foods, United Foods, sorry. United Natural Foods, symbol is UNFI, trading 32.09, down 8.87 or 21.7%. They missed by 66 cents. Revenues were in line. Fiscal 23 guides below consensus. So, and yesterday, Campbell's Pork and Beans was the only one. The only one of the food service companies, food supply chain companies that was up. It's up 82 cents today on a beat. They beat by 6 cents. They beat on revenues. They raised lower end of guidance, fiscal full year 23, and revenues above consensus. So, some of these are kind of interesting in that the public obviously is more elastic as it relates to um, price raises to combat input cost inflation. Okay, one last comment. If I were Warren Buffett and I own 10.5 million shares of Norfolk and Southern, I would seriously think about having a heart to heart and kicking the CEO out. Um, what's coming out here is a total lack of any supervision relative to safety and safety inspections and dealing with problems. And so, I know he's not down there, uh, inspecting the bearings on the wheels, but he's still responsible for it. So we'll see what Mr. Shaw has to say tomorrow before Congress or the Senate or wherever he's been summoned to discuss these derailments. But there you have that. Also, one other thing I mentioned yesterday about GBTC and Ethereum, primarily GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Um, Turns out that the complaining party that got the SEC on them was none other than Alameda. So now you know where some of that stolen money that was contributed to congressmen and senators, what the point of it was. Um, the discount on GBTC is roughly 44%. Before yesterday's move, it was 47%. And just so that you understand, I mentioned it last night. If you were to buy GBTC here at 12 and a half, you would be buying Bitcoin that it holds in the trust at a 44% discount. So if Grayscale could turn this into an ETF, that would be a huge windfall for anyone involved. Okay, Jolt's coming out at 10 o'clock, I believe it is. And so we'll see that. Yeah, 10 o'clock on the job openings, 10:30 on crude oil inventories, and 2 o'clock on the March Fed beige book. So we may see a little bit of action on at least that last one. Chart on the screen is the dollar. I keep telling you, it wants to go higher, but it's now running into, when it wants to go higher at support and it's 104, you have to kind of align your thinking a little differently at 106, because this is not a stock that was up 2%. This is a currency which, sometimes moves 2% in a decade. In any event, the volatility is clearly here. We've gone from 100.5 to 105.75 or so, 5 7/8. We are running into supply here in the 106 to 108 area. We're also, although we have broken above most of the moving averages, this green line is the 200-day, and it is leveling off after rising. So I don't want to say it's turning down because it's not, but The MACD has gone absolutely flat, and this is a problem area. Let's just take one more look at it on a weekly basis so you can see what I'm talking about. 50% fib retracement, and on the weekly, we actually could break out here the end of this week with the 5-week going through the 20-week. All right, everyone, really not much going on. Dow is up 34. Excuse me. The S&P is up about 6, and the NASDAQ is also up about 26. All right, everyone.